Okay, we're going to start by doing an example, and the problem that I would like to do is on page 267, number 21. And we're going to use a process that is listed on page 260 and 261. So what I'd like you to do is pause this. Read problem 21, what it's asking you to do on page 267, and I want you to read over on page 260 and 261. There are 7 steps for a simulation. I want you to kind of read over that and then come back to this. Okay, so the problem that we are doing is called basketball strategy, and it's a 1-on-1 situation. So when a player's been fouled, then one of the possibilities of happening is a 1-on-1, meaning he gets a shot, and then he gets a second shot only if he makes the first one. And this particular player has a 72% percentage as far as when they make the foul shots that season. So what we're going to do is go through those 7 steps. So the first thing we have to do is identify the component to be repeated. And so what we want to have happen is we want to simulate making a shot. And we need to be able to tell, does he make it or miss? So we're going to be keeping track of that. And then we'll repeat if they make the first shot. So repeat if makes first shot. So really, the component part of it is just making a shot. So explain how we'll model the outcome. This is where we have to assign our digits. So I'm going to let 0, 0 to 71 be makes it. And 72 to 99 misses. Okay, sorry about this. The pen I'm using is really sensitive. Okay. So next, how are we going to simulate the trial? I'm going to use a table. Maybe I'll use cursive. I'm going to, oh, that's not good, is it? I'm going to select 2 digits if between 0, 0 and 71, select 2 more digits. Okay, so that would be one trial. So that's going to show, because if they make the first basket, they get to shoot again. So that's going to simulate one trial. The response variable. In this case, the response variable is how many points does the player get? Okay, so per 1-on-1 situation. So that's what we're looking for our response variable. So that's what we're going to have to take our data and figure that out. My next part now, I'm to running the trials. Now it says several, so there's a little bit, kind of up to you. So if you're not told specifically, I'm going to go with 20 trials, and it would depend on my purpose. If I'm doing this by hand, more than 20 trials is going to be just a bit cumbersome. But if you were doing this in reality, you might do 1,000 trials if you had computer technology, because it's really easy to do lots of trials. So we're just going to do 20 trials. And what we're going to do is I have copied a table from another source, so this is not from your textbook, but I'm going to use this table and just kind of mark up the table. If you were taking the AP exam, they would actually give you a portion of the table, and you would just mark up the table right on your paper. So this is going to signify, so like I'm just going to start at line 101. So the first number is a 19. So this would be that they made it. And then I would go ahead to the next numbers, and they made it again. So that's where that's going to end, and that person would have been 2 points. Okay, because this would signify they made the shot, they got to take another shot, they made the next shot, so they got 2 points. Next would be you cross over the gap, so a 39, and then a 50. So that means they've made both shots, so they get 2 points. Next would be a 34. So that means they get to do another shot. They get a 5. Remember, I'm looking for 00 to 71 means they made it. So they get 2 points. On the next one, it's a 75. They miss it. They don't get to shoot again. So this is a 0 points. Okay, next one, I go with 62. So that signifies they made it. They get to shoot again. They get 87, and that was a miss. So they get 1 point. Next is a 13, so they make it. 96, miss the second shot, so that's 1 point. Make it, miss it, 1 point. Make it, 2 points. Okay, I'm going to pause here and then just kind of finish this up so I don't have to go through the movie. Okay, I think I finished it up. The only one I want to point out, I got to the end here and I had 2 digits, which is a 53, which means they made it. Made the second basket. The 73, they missed it, so there was just 1 point. And then I did the points underneath. So I've got all these values now that would show my simulation. I've done 20 trials. So now it's time to do something with them. So we're going to kind of total those up and average them to do that next part. So I'm going to pause this and do that separately. Okay, what I wrote down, I made a little chart. I went through my results. And there were 2 times where he would get 0 points. 6 times he got 1 point, and 12 times he got 2 points. So when I analyzed the response variable, what I probably would want to do would be to, remember we were looking for the response variable with how many points on average when he is in a 1-on-1 situation. So I'm going to add those points, and when you add them up, you get 30. So 30 points over 20 trials. So we have about 1.5, so 1.5 points per 1-on-1 situation. Okay, and that would be on average. Obviously, it's not possible to get 1.5 points, but on average, in repeated trials, my results showed that he would get 1.5 points per 1-on-1 situation. As a matter of fact, what I just said is what you would state for your conclusion. So according to my simulation, I'm not going to write this down, but according to my simulation, in repeated trials, or in 20 trials, I could say, the player would get approximately 1.5 points per 1-on-1 situation. So that's how you would describe that.